Because I'm a musician, and I only make sensible purchases, I decided I want to pick up a physical copy of this Korg Gadget thing I'd seen on the eShop and also on Amazon. Check it out. On the eShop, it costs $48, but physically goes for around $50. I got mine in a Black Friday sale for about $30. It's a pretty decent physical copy for a Switch title. There's art on the inside of the cover, and a 60-page instruction booklet that outlines how to use the software and all the digital synths included. Sadly, it's not a complete physical copy. When I put the cartridge in the Switch, it needed an update, and there are 2 digital synths available as DLC, each costing $10. However, this software is pretty intuitive if you've used a DAW before, especially Ableton's Session View. You program your stuff into a piano roll, and using scenes can organize your song however you'd like. You have 16 tracks, which means you can have 16 different iterations of a synth or drum machine in your piece of music, and each track gets up to 50 scenes. Within each scene, you can create up to 8 bars of music, meaning you've got up to 400 total bars of music to work with, which can be a lot depending on your tempo. I spent a few hours and made a couple songs with it, and it's all pretty easy to use. Works fairly well, and has a surprising amount of depth and capability. You can use it very well in handheld, tabletop, and TV modes. It's honestly a pretty capable DAW, and expanded alternate versions are available on iOS, Mac, and as a VST plugin. The Switch version even has some cool stuff with how the Joy-Con were integrated too. You can turn knobs by hand, and the HD Rumble allows you to feel specific locations during the turn and stuff. This sort of works in handheld mode too. It's all pretty cool. The only thing I don't totally understand is, why did they put this on the Switch in the first place? If I had to guess, it would be something to do with the platform's popularity. The install base on Switch is astoundingly large and still growing. Korg Gadget is just one of many productivity apps on the Switch, like Colors Live, RPG Maker MV, a couple of clocks, a calculator, etc., other things. Previous Nintendo handheld platforms also had similar productivity apps, some of which were made by Nintendo themselves. In particular, the 3DS even had some of its own music production software, as did the DSi, some of which is also from Korg. I have Rhythmic Ultimate on my 3DS because, as I said at the top, only sensible purchases out of me. That doesn't make Korg Gadget's existence on the Switch feel any less strange, though, especially when you dig into the software. This is very deep music creation software for a gaming device. You have a lot of microcontrol you can do with the individual instruments. They have presets, but you can really get into sound creation by changing just about anything. Each instrument has an effect you can apply to it, and there's a master reverb you can apply in the mixer. You can even record an automation. Yeah, there's even automation functionality. It's far more in-depth than you'd expect from something sold as a Switch game. It's even got local and online 4-player co-op for some reason, but I didn't get a chance to test that. The weirdest thing though is, unless you have another version of Korg Gadget on another platform, potentially only iOS, it seems the only way to export anything you've made is by just recording it directly off the Switch. That's just a limitation of it being on the platform, which again brings me back to the big question. Why did they put this on the Switch in the first place? It's a very strange piece of software to be here, both because of how in-depth it is, it has very few shortcomings, and its lack of export functionality. As I do think this workflow is decent, I may look into the VST version of Korg Gadget 2 for Windows at some point in the future. It's a bit expensive, but I'm sure I'd get my money's worth out of it. However, some point in the future is unlikely to be anytime soon, mind you. In that specific case where you're a Windows user with a Switch and have the VST for your DAW and you can use the Switch version to do music production easily on the go, then maybe buying this kind of makes sense, if it works like that. I'm still not sure if it transfers anywhere besides iOS. However, most people, unless they just want a high-quality musical toy, probably don't want to pick this up. There are better, cheaper alternatives for music production out there, like an actual DAW? But what do you think? Beacons.ai, link in the description with all my links. Like, dislike, subscribe. Comment what you think about this software. Share the video. Do the things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye!